Extra hype. Can you hear me all right?
That's right, that's right. Monday, from poverty to
Welcome to Grown Folk Talking. Express yourself. The podcast will begin momentarily. Muted. Unmuted.
got you, brother, got you, brother. Folks in the building, Supermassive Extra Hype Team, bringing it to you tonight. From poverty to prosperity, Marcus and FloFokuz, focusing with ya. Fortunate to have you. Now, something. Yeah, summertime. Here we go. That's right. Glad you're here. Stick around. Something you might like to hear. Summertime. Once again, I want to welcome you to the podcast, my friends. You're here with us, the extra hype, super massive team in the building for you. That's right, in the building tonight. We're glad that you're with us on this Monday, and it's going to be extra hype today. So stick around with us. We got something that's definitely going to be something for you. And we hope that you're going to definitely like what we have in store to give you right now tonight. So, without further ado, my friends, you know what we have to do. It is customary. We got to show some love to those who show love to this podcast. Yes, we do. So, without further ado, my friends, I want to just direct your attention to a few places that show love to this podcast. We got Kono's Restaurant at 16 Clinton Street, Newark, New Jersey. Got the mouth-watering cuisine. You might stop there. That's right. Take a taste. Tell them that you heard about them on the podcast. They'll make sure that they take care of you and welcome you into the restaurant. Sylvia and Alex, yes, those are your hosts. Make sure you say hello to them from me, all right? From the podcast. And the Food House at 764 Broad Street. That's right, Johan and Isamar. Yes, say hello to them. They've got the sea moss for you. They've also got the freshly squeezed organic juices that they do themselves. They've got the smoothies, they've got the teas, they've got the herbs, the spices, the fruits, the vegetables, the things that we need to help our bodies. That's right, to stay healthy, to stay energized, and to stay youthful. That's right. So 764 Broad Street, that is the Fruit House. Check them out. Tell them that you heard about them on the podcast. That's right. They support this podcast. And last but not least, we got Halsey News. That's right. 2 Prudential Drive, Newark, New Jersey, in the heart of Brick City, downtown. That's right. Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. Say hello to Shahida and Sadiqa. They will be definitely glad to greet you and meet you right there at 2 Prudential Drive, Halsey News. Make sure you check them out. Mornings and evenings. Not too late, though. Not too late. And check out what they have in store. Slices of cake. That's all I'm going to say. Butter pecan, red velvet, lemon. Lemon frosted, I tell you. And there's some others in there, too, that really do catch a lot of people's fancy. So, 2 Prudential Drive, Newark, New Jersey, has Halsey News. They show some love and support this podcast. And just a couple of websites that we definitely want you to be aware of. We got the gifting site. That's right, my gift and our gift to you for coming on the podcast. Go to networkingforsuccess.info/grooveology-360. Open that up. You're going to see a welcome page. Click on the top. That's right. We got a few things in store for you. Come on. Go on, check them out. We got some welcome gifts for you just for being on the podcast. Also, liquidmana.com, oxygen-enriched products. They got waters. They have gel pads that you can use on your body. Place it on your body wherever you feel you have pain, wherever you have an issue. They also have, now check this out, they have waters that have vitamin C frequency, calcium frequency, zinc frequency. First time I've heard about that actually being a thing. But it is infused in this oxygen-rich water, H2O. That's right. I believe they call that something about H2O or H3O, something like that. But I tell you, it's something you definitely want to check out at liquidmana.com. Also, ProLogicStrategies.com. That's right, Supermassive Extra Hype, FloFokuz, that's his website. Check him out over there. We got the news reel for you. That's right, ProLogicStrategies.com/news. You know why? Because the announcements that you hear, especially the one about August 16th, right here, 699 Springfield Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself Networks. Second, Disease Prevention Convention and Health Forum from 12 noon to 6 p.m. Over 20 speakers, my friends, and of course you got a bunch of vendors. Come out and support and join them. That's right. Donation is just $1, 4 quarters, 10 dimes, 20 nickels, 100 pennies, or a single dollar bill. That's all it is. Just a donation-based event. Just $1. That's all that's being asked. Once you come to the door, why don't you just share $1? It goes right back into the community, and so that we can continue to bring you more projects that are community-oriented and community-based for your benefit as well as ours. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, all right. And last but not least, go to bearcatbody.com. B-A-R-E is spelled bear. Catbody.com. Lovely Leslie, right? With her website, yes, everything for your body butter. She's got dental. She's got eye. She's got things to make you smell good as well. I'm telling you, things for your hair, skin, and nails. She's got it all. She's got it all figured out. Check her out at bearcatbody.com. And if you want to see her, as a matter of fact, if you want to talk to her, I tell you what, you can talk to her. That's right. Just about 3 times a week. I believe it's from 8 until 9 or 9:30. She's on TikTok. And you can get her by going to TikTok and typing in @BearCatBody. Her page will pop right up. So everybody, those are our announcements, and those are our websites, and those are our local businesses that support this podcast. That's right. And tonight, from poverty to prosperity, of course, we're bringing the mindset to get you into a prosperous way, to get you out of a poverty mindset. And tonight, we're going to continue our journey through civics. It's been such a good series that people have been asking us to continue it. So you know what? We're going to continue a journey through civics, okay? And tonight, once again, the title of this journey through civics, Secrets to the Game Revealed. And tonight's secret that is going to be revealed that we're going to be talking about is a need to know basis. Minding your business. A need to know basis. Some people say, mind your business. Well, tonight we're going to be talking about that because, believe it or not, that is one of your most powerful superpowers. Super Saiyans. That energy just flowing from your feet all the way up to your crown. That is one of your most powerful stances that you can take. And we're going to get in that tonight. And I hope we're going to get some Q&A because this is going to be something that we've designed that you're going to like. Okay? So without further ado, let's start. So, Secrets of the Game Reveal, a journey through civics. And tonight, what we're talking about tonight here is a need to know basis. Now, when we think about a need to know basis, it's always been known to me that that means that that's something that's between whoever's talking about those things. Everybody else outside of that don't need to know because you're not a part of the conversation. And that's a very powerful position to hold because that is private sector behavior. Even in public, you still carry the private sector with you. Yes, you do. And one of the most powerful things that we have at our disposal is the ability to release or withhold. Information is one of the key elements that we have the absolute right and power to either release it or withhold it. And that goes to whomever and for whatever reason we would decide to release or withhold. Whatever. It is not just your information, it's your presence. Your presence. The sound of your voice. Yes, the sound of your voice. Your opinions. That's right, your opinions. Your presence. Yes, being in the room, being around a circle of people. And it goes to many other things as well. But when we talk about going through civics and how we, as people who we are, relate to elected officials, we've got to remember that there are some key things in place that will help all of us to live more peaceably. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to have total peace. I don't think right now, in this time right now, that that's a possibility or even on the table. But we can live more peaceable and more fruitful lives without others being all up in our business. Now, let me share this. I think that this is very important. People only know, or can, let me say this, people can only confirm to know what we tell them. What we tell them, not what somebody else tells somebody. No. Coming from the source. People can only confirm to know what we, or us as individuals, let them know. Anything else is nothing but speculation. That's about it. It's maybe good for banter and a little bit of side conversation, sidebars every now and then. But other than that, it's not confirmed. We don't know if that's correct, if that's real, if it's true, if it's factual, if it holds weight, if we can actually depend on it, if we can build on it, if we can trust it. We have no clue. We have no idea. And the good thing about that is because we simply have no idea, we simply can't go out there and act on something that we think might be true, or we think we may know, or we think may be valid. We have to verify that. We have to get that from the horse's mouth. Now, check this out. There's a little bit of play that goes on with that. And once again, this is a journey through civics, secrets to the game revealed. Tonight, a need-to-know basis, or minding our business, or mind our business. Now, there's a little bit of play that goes on with this because, like I said, it's one of the most powerful positions that we can take. But there are those who would like to be able to take that power away and run off with it and do all kinds of things with it and leave us in a position of being powerless and without help. Now, I'm quite sure that we can think of certain situations that we may have experienced where we felt the loss of power and we felt helpless. And I'm going to tell you something. That depends mostly on what we allow to be shared with others. Like I said, whether it's our presence, whether it's our voice, whether it's our information, our opinions, etc., etc. You get it? Okay, etc. But one of the greatest things that we've ever been told is people only know what you tell them. And this is true. This is true. People can only verify what you tell them. Now, let me say this. A lot of times when we go and let's say we want to, we want to get into a new place. We want to live somewhere else. We're tired of being where we are. for whatever reason, management might not be the best, or your landlord just might not be so quick to take care of things. For whatever reason, you might have some neighbors that live upstairs, and maybe their kids just run back and forth all day like they're running a marathon. But let's say you want to go somewhere, you want to move, and you find a place that you think is going to be nice and it's got good amenities. So you sit down with the management staff. They say, oh, well, yeah, we just, we need you to fill out an application and, fill out some other information for us. So you say, okay, great. I'll sit down and I'll do this. Now, all of a sudden, you're filling out this application, and these questions become not so much of a professional nature, but more of a personal fishing expedition. That's what I call it. To where, people sit up there and they want to know, okay, what's your name? All right. When were you born? Okay. What's your mother's name? What's your father's name? What's your mother's maiden name? Whoa. What's your social? What city were you born in? What state was that? What date was that? What's your mom's maiden name? What about your grandparents? What's their names? Where'd you go to school? Her. Do you have a driver's license? Is it valid? How many cars have you owned? How many assets do you own? Do you have bank accounts? How many? Do you have any assets? Do you have any savings like IRAs, 401ks? Oh, where are those located? How much you got in them? You got a phone? You got a computer? Pardon me, everybody. Got a phone? You got a computer? You got any other assets? You own real estate? You ever owned a house? You own a car? You got any loan payments? You got any mortgages? And all of these things that come at us as questions, sometimes I know we got to say to ourselves, why do people want to know all of this stuff, and what's the need for it? And a lot of times we rationalize this away and say, well, I guess because I want to move into this place, or I guess because I want to buy this new automobile, or I guess because I want to open an investment account with a brokerage firm and they need all of this information. Not. They don't need all that. They want permission to view our personal lives. And guess who's the only one who can give them permission to do so? Yes. Yes, exactly. People only know or can verify what you tell them. And if you do not tell them something, then they cannot verify that the information that they have is true and correct. Does that stop you from getting some things? Well, it's quite possible that it could delay. It's quite possible that it could put a halt to it, but I'll tell you why it can't stop it. It can't stop it. And if we were more well-versed, I think we would understand this premise. Privacy laws. Private sector. Privacy law. See, the private sector is nothing like the public. Because, see, the private sector has nothing to do with public interest. The two are worlds apart. They don't meet in the middle. They stand on both sides. They can walk on the same easement and drive on the same thoroughfare, but do they commingle? Not really. No, they don't. Because there are definitions of those who are employees in the public, who work in the public, and those who are private sector, who may work in the public at times, but when they're out and they're not working and they're not labeled and not doing a job, they're private citizens, walking around doing whatever. So I say all of that to say this. People will give you all kinds of excuses. Here, we need this for this. Here, we need that for this. Here, we need to know how many kids you got. We need to know if they got any kids. We need to know how many siblings do you have? What are their names? Where do they live? Who are they married to? Now, let me ask a question. How many of you really feel comfortable? You don't have to answer this yet because we'll open it up for Q&A. Giving away that information for a perceived benefit. A perceived benefit. Now, like I said, it's not to say that you can't receive that benefit. It may be halted, it may be delayed a little bit, but there is nothing that says you cannot receive a benefit that everybody else is also entitled to receive, simply because you won't give out your private information. You don't have to. And we're going to deal with something that kind of speaks to that and gives you the ability to not have to give away your private information. We'll go through that tonight. So, applications after applications after applications, mountains of paperwork. Sometimes I know it feels like you're filling up a file folder worth of paper. And then, God help you if these people lose your documents or they say they lose your documents and you have to do them all over again or resubmit them again. Losing documents, commingling them with other documents belonging to other people. And who knows where that stuff ended up? Maybe somebody else now has something else to look at. Somebody else's information that they don't even know. I know it has happened to me a time or two. I've received somebody else's information from a company or agency that I was doing business with and wondered, whose stuff is this? It's got my address and somebody else's name on it. Didn't notice it at the time because in your mailbox, in my mailbox, I usually don't look at it. I just assume that the mail is for me. When I open it up, I assume it's for me because it's usually for me. But somebody else's information being in your mailbox, that's interesting. Very interesting. So what we have here is we have a position of power that says, listen, you don't have to say anything. You can remain silent all day. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to show your presence. You don't have to come out if you don't want to, or you don't have to go around those places that you don't want to be. You don't have to give yourself over to anything, because that also goes under rights of expression. You don't have to do that. You have the freedom to express, which also means you have the freedom to not express. One of the greatest examples and one of the greatest things that we can see is that when you're in a car, somebody else is driving there behind the wheel, and let's say you get a visit from some of the local constabularies because they're lonely and have nothing else to do, and they might be beat for some company, but because you don't really have to talk to them, they want to come up and have a conversation with you, calling it consensual. Well, here's the thing. Somebody can come up with a consensual request to speak to you, and you can consensually just remain silent and tell them, no, thanks. I'm good. You don't have to speak to them if you don't want to. It's up to you. But a lot of times, people will try to extract information from you. Hey, just wondering if you were okay. So, how's your day going? Where you coming from? Where you headed off to? Only reason we ask is because we never see you around here. So does that really mean that somebody who's not around here, when they see them, isn't around here at other times? Or that they can't come around unless they're seen? Dirty little tricks that are being played to try to get us to play the game. To give up the information. Why do they want information? Because that is powerful. Because once they have the information that they want, they write it down. You know what they do? They stick it in a database. Now, our information is in it again, in an updated form this time, from the last time we may have given something. But I know it seems daunting, and we always seem like we have to give this stuff. We even feel compelled, like if we don't give the stuff, we're doing something wrong. But nothing could be further from the truth. For you to keep your private information private is an obligation. If I tell you something and you share something back with me, it's an understanding between us that this is a private conversation that we're having. It goes no further than this unless I or you give permission. Last podcast, permission. Remember that word? To reveal to someone else what was mentioned in this conversation. Because that's built on trust. That power that we have circulating between us because we're sharing and receiving information. We may be in each other's presence either up front and in person or over some other kind of device. But in that exchange, that information is powerful. It's power-packed because it's our frequencies speaking to each other. Other people want to join in on that, but they're not invited. So they would much rather like to kind of crash the party, like crash the wedding. They weren't invited, but they show up in there the life of the party. They have everybody going, and nobody knows who they are. Or even further beyond than that, even further than that. Yeah. Oh, you want this credit card? Tell us everything about yourself. All the way back to your elementary school. No thanks. Oh, you want a line of credit? Okay, yeah, just fill out the stack of papers up. I'll be right back. Hold those right there. It just looks a little suspicious that you're just sitting in your car over here. Yeah, it's a hot summer day. I'm waiting for somebody to meet me here. So you get in the car and we can go to where we're going. And I'm listening to the radio with the windows down. And that looks suspicious because I'm sitting in a car that's not moving. Really. Okay, miss me with that. You have the right to say that. Now, they may not like it, but sometimes people have to develop a thick skin because of the occupation that they have, and they deal with people every day that are going to have different attitudes and different opinions about different things. And sometimes people are going to want to stop and talk. There are those that do that. There are others that don't want to be bothered. There are others that are quite busy. They're moving here to there, and they don't have time. But all the information that we carry, even the conversations that we give to each other, even the engagements that we are involved in, are on a need-to-know basis. Don't think for a solitary minute that you have to give anybody anything. because you don't. It's up to you. And a lot of these things, I got to tell you this because this applications that we complete, that we fill out for credit, for credit cards, for bank accounts, applications to go to school, applications for employment, applications for child care, for babysitting, applications for anything else that you can just about name about, with the exception of just a small handful of things, are all financial instruments. Look it up. I'm not lying. Applications. Why do you think they want so much information? It doesn't matter who it is or where they're getting it from. They all want it. I've never seen so many applications given out by the court system in my entire days. Everything is an application and an approval, because those are financial instruments. Applications are financial instruments, and it is against the law for anybody to deny you an application if you request one. Yes, it is a crime if you request an application and someone does not provide you with one. Even if you're not going to qualify, they still have to provide it, because it's commercial. It's a financial instrument. So, why are things about us on a need-to-know basis, and how do we keep them private? Well, number one, it's on a need-to-know basis because look at what's being put in front of us. Look at what people are fishing for. Look at what these bored people who are bored out of their skulls, riding around these cars with cherry lights on top sometimes in certain places, and just bored. Oh, they just want to have a conversation with you now? But wait a minute. When you had an issue maybe about a month ago and you needed them right away, they weren't nowhere around. You couldn't even find one for hours. But now all of a sudden they're right here. They appear now. They want to have a conversation. Yeah, okay. You wait right here. I'll be right back. I'm going to get the picnic basket. So, what I'm about to tell everybody next is something that I verified. Now, I'm not telling anybody to do what I am about to reveal. I want you to understand that. I am providing information called gem drops. That's what I call them. And it is up to you, the listener, to retain or reject the information. And if you retain it, then it is up to you what you will do with it next. I have no skin in any of that game. That decision is solely yours. I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. I'm not going to tell you what you should do, because that is a part of your life and your existence and a frequency that you resonate at. That is your choice, and your choice has a frequency resonation to it. So I have no interest in trying to manipulate that at all. I'm simply giving out information. So, how do we keep our information private and keep it from getting out there, especially your social? Because, you know, everybody wants your social. Everybody wants it. But everybody ain't supposed to have it. It's also under privacy laws. So, how do we keep our stuff private? Ever heard of starting a business? Ever heard of creating a corporation? Some people call them shelf corporations or shell corps. Two different things, by the way. One is in a dormant status. It's not inactive, it's just dormant. And they build up years of time on it to give it more legitimacy in the business world. Gives it a sense of longevity. A shell corp, that's just something that you put on, you use when you need it. It's kind of like a burner telephone. It's good for what it's good for, when it's good, and once it's no good, now you get rid of it. Okay. Well, the thing about these is that when you create these things, you can have total anonymity. You can actually create a corporation in your name, like some people do, and it will not reveal any of your personal information, and you'll get a different number called an EIN number. And you can provide that if you wish when you're filling out for applications. You can let them know, oh, no. This is my EIN. I do business in this format. Remember, in commercial world, it's all about business. You really don't want your personal, private information being floated all around in that business world, because we see what people have done with information, especially people's personal and private information. So there are many different vehicles, entities that you can use to keep yourself and maintain your anonymity, keeping your public, or not your public, but your personal information out of public interest, not subject to public scrutiny. You can create a corporation. Why? Because a corporation gives you anonymity if you want it. It does not tie back to you. It does not tie back to your personal information. It doesn't even tie back to your social. It doesn't give any of that up. And you can use that to conduct business. So when you walk around in the commercial world, in the public eye, you don't have to have fear of, well, who's going to ask me for this today and who knows this about me, because you're walking in anonymity. These are some of the things that we truly have not been made aware of. We see the operation, but the intricacies, the little details under the hood, within the casing, those are things that we haven't been made aware of. But they do exist. We can know how things work. We can know how to deal with people and situations. We can know this. All it takes is for us to have the information, and then it takes each one as an individual to go ahead and dig into the information. Get it inside. Know it if you want to, so that you can use it for your benefit and for the benefit of others, because you never know who you might come across that may just need a helping hand up while they're down, or who might need a protective century as they're being menaced by others. They're experiencing a nuisance coming from somewhere. You never know. But at the end of the day, all of us have our information out there. I realize that. It is out there. But does that mean that everybody has to have it? No, because everybody has to verify it. People can sit up here and claim to know that, oh, yeah, this is your information here. You had this, you had this, you had that. But until you verify it, they can't do anything with it. It can't be utilized. Although they will try to trick and deceive people into going along with their agendas so that they can get what it is they're truly fishing for. And that's all a mechanism of intrusive control, busting through the door and then occupying the space inside, and then making up new rules and saying, this is how things are going to go down now. Well, if you're not one who's fond of that, then what I would suggest to those who want to, keep your anonymity and protect your information. Put a layer over yourself, just like you do when you go out in the rain, you wear a raincoat, so that you don't get soaking wet and drenched. If that's something that you're looking to be able to utilize, the information is out there. There's certain things that can be put forth and provided that we may have. Other things have to be researched because I most certainly don't know everything and I haven't heard everything. But there's some times when I have to go back and do some more research and study just to find things out, to confirm and verify them. Just like confirming and verifying that streets, avenues, boulevards, cul-de-sacs, places, ways, circles are all fictional. They're all constructs. They're all make-believe because they can change at any time. Land coordinates are permanent and real. Just like there's an ID that has a street address on it, someone's name over the top of it, and usually a photograph. That's the Monopoly board. That's the ID that says we're playing Monopoly. We're playing a fictional game. This is made up. Our feet ain't touching the ground because we're on the game board because we're carrying this ID card. And we may need it for purposes, and I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying that you may need that ID card to facilitate and get some things done, by all means. But there may be those times when you're just out and about. You might be, I'm just shopping, I'm just going to the library, I'm just going over here. I'm in the park. I'm going to the restaurant. I'm going to a show, a concert, an amusement park. And I may have an ID on me that has land coordinates, but it still has my likeness of an image. It still has land coordinates, and it still has some other information that I don't mind providing as a description. But other information remains private. So, with that being said, my friends, what we're going to do now is open up the lines for Q&A. Yes, indeed, everybody. We're opening up the lines, Q&A, comments, opinions, suggestions, and the like. You know how we do here. We don't try to control the narrative. We don't try to feed you something and tell you this is the only. No. You have free talk range here. You can speak. So basically, on what you heard tonight about identification, about information, and about if you have to give it out or if you can't keep it, and in what circumstances that actually applies, the floor is open. And if you have a question or a comment, please feel free. But first, I would be remiss if I did not ask my co-host, FloFokuz, Extra Hype, anything you'd like to add to this topic tonight?
As long as you can hear me, all right.
Oh, yes, loud and clear.
Awesome. At the end of the day, a lot of procedure really has to start with verifying who the heck we're talking to. You know, You guys don't even like picking up your phone if you don't recognize the number. You know, you say, "Don't call me from a blocked number," because who the heck knows that's calling me that? I don't even want them to know I'm available at this number type of thing. You know what I mean? I pick it up and it's like, well, who's calling? And it's all like, now I gotta play this game. So it's better to do things up front and have yourself like a barrier. How he's saying, have yourself a buffer. I
Hmm.
can very easily refer this to, like, the some of your biblical texts, how it explains there's like it was the Ark of the Covenant, how it had an inner court and an outer court.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
similar to how we're speaking here, where you've got that very important thing in the center there. What you're supposed to do is layer it to make sure that you only let those in to those closer boundaries that are worthy and you
Yes.
deem worthy. So that's all nature, I presume. At the end of the day, there are checks and balances. We've got our whole entire organism. We've got, limbs. We've got organ systems. We've got the organ itself. We've got, the cell tissue, all the way down to molecules and quarks. It keeps going down. So this is the same thing we're doing, building structure, starting from the most simple unit and building outward to then make that next scale of unit its own set unit at a different level, transcending those levels there and after. So I'm not gonna get too crazy and wackadoo for you guys tonight. So feel free to
Journey.
chime in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what you
Journey.
got to say.
All right, the floor is open.
Man, good
Yes,
evening,
you may
Marcus.
be. Good evening, Latoya.
You shared a lot, Marcus. You
Well,
shared a
we
lot.
had a lot to share. We had a lot to share.
Yes. About giving away your identification, I guess. That was one of the topics, if I'm correct?
Yes, your information, your personal
Yes,
information.
correct.
Hmm. Yes, that is
Um,
a topic.
mhm. I
Basically,
go
things
right
that
ahead.
are on a need to know basis. Things that are on a need to know basis. So that's our topic tonight. And one of those things is our personal information.
As to where if people's calling about that as we just giving it to people, other words.
In
And
different scenarios, yes. Hmm.
say it again, I'm sorry?
Well, in different scenarios, my dear, yes, where we're giving away information
Hmm.
that we
And
may not have to really give away.
that we have not, repeat that, please?
Information that we may be providing to others that we do not have to give to them.
Mm. Yeah. Maybe not aware that we're giving it to them, or we not, we probably coherent that we not aware that we're giving it to them, and that's the thing. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Oh, it absolutely makes sense. Because there's a lot of games being played because people want our information and they know we don't have to give it to them. But they will play games and, try to trick people into providing things so that they can have it. But they have other agendas for that information. A lot of
Yeah,
identity theft going on.
yeah. See, extra hype. I was just about to say that, like, when it comes to, for example, identity theft, right? A lot of the times, it comes from those companies that we try to expect a bit of privacy from. They begin by selling our information to third parties, but then once that information exists, somebody can further extrapolate certain information. So now, they'll just see your name with a phone number. They can call you, and then they can say things like, "Hey, I know, your name is so and so," so they can probably just say, "Hey, something that will pertain to you revealing like your last name. Hey, didn't you go to school with so and so? No, I went to so and so high. Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me what I didn't know." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all these different ways that at the end of the day people are fishing, okay, for information. They're literally throwing bait into the situation. Like, for example, you might get an email that says, "Hey, I've got an amazing opportunity for you. Just send me an email in return and open this link and respond with your phone number so that we can talk," or whatever. There's lots of different ways that they just get you to do things. Even at that little click of the link can open up something on your computer. We've seen them long ago. That then those things open up something on your computer that can just grab information that they want. So it's all about opening up your vulnerabilities. And before computers, it started with good old fashioned communication, whether it be a letter in the mail or a phone call. It could be junk mail. It's all the same thing, guys. It's all a chance for them to receive some sort of information, some sort of verification that where I'm sending this exists, and I'm going to get some sort of possible return on investment. I can at least quantify that into some sort of a percentage, and figure out loss and all these kinds of things. Prospectus, all of this stuff is useful. Just the simple fact that I know you leave your house at 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, this is why business is done from 9 to 5. You know, it's like we know you're going to be at work from 9 to 5, so I got to call you from 9 to 5. It goes on, guys. It goes on. But the key to what we're talking about here is the fact that you don't have to give your information. You don't have to, because that's what's most important about you, your special information, your unique signature. That's what they want.
This is
Hey,
Joffrey. Can I join in?
certainly.
Okay, I always got something. I want to start off by saying, it was many years ago that I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy, and I never got caught. But I know they've been looking for me, and so when I'm driving down the road and Officer McGillicuddy pulls me over and hits my tail light with his baton and says he's pulling me over for a broken tail light and he wants to see my ID. Now it's in my wallet, which is in my pocket, which is in the private from what I gather from certain people I listen to on grown folk talking. It's in the private, and I also know I have a right against self incrimination, so I decide that I have no answers for Officer McGillicuddy. But then there's all these daggone laws on the books that says I have to provide this information. So I'm confused because there's laws to protect me, but then laws that says I have to do that which is going to open it up for him to know that I'm wanted from years ago. Uh, that's
Can
a
I
hypothetical.
can I answer to that extra high?
Hey, y'all got it.
Yeah, because you're absolutely right. This is why we have to set up those barriers. This is why. What you do is when you're operating your motor vehicle on the road, you're not for hire. So what you have to do is create some sort of an entity that you can stand in that, you know. At the end of the day, we're registering things with their system. So that makes us liable to their process if we not fail to register, but if we simply don't register with their system in different ways. We can get into it, but it's more or less just saying I created what I have outside of your system, so I'm operating outside of it. Like I said, there's ways to do that, but the most important way is to create an entity, a trust, if you will, something like that, that then you operate and do business as that name. And now, what are you saying about, like, warrants or past infractions and things? Those don't come up because your name isn't associated with that trust.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You're just out there as the trust, and whether or not you're in the system, you can say, I'm traveling on the road. I don't have any connection to you. Now, there's ways that you can get like a what might some people might consider like a federal driver's license, or a driver license plate from like the DOT. You know, that kind of thing kind of supersedes the state in my understanding, so that you can cross state lines and not need to renew stuff and reapply, re-register. You're superseding the state and just going with a federal intrastate kind of situation, if that's the term. So, I'm not getting too specific because I don't want to, make this into any type of legal advice situation. But, I just suggest that people look into this type of a thing, layering your entities so that when things do come under scrutiny, you do actually have a separation of these things, more or less.
Yeah, and I want to chime in on that too, really quick, just for a point of clarity. So just to clear something up here. Now, like Flo said, it's not any advice. This is not advice. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do or what not to do. I will clear this up though. We all have a past. We all have things that were done. We were all in this system. We were all playing this game. So there are going to be some things that past, present, future, whatever, good, bad, or indifferent, they're going to be there. Okay? They are going to be there. Now, how they interact with you could be a different story depending on what you do to layer yourself. You can do that. You can actually take on a whole new identity if you want to. DBA. Yes, you can. And you can layer that in so many different ways, and you can kind of do different things, but that's a different conversation. But the main key point here is your information, your private information, it was never made to be given away. But the way to retain that information and keep it from being given out was never told to us. And the other thing that was never told to us is that those who are in a public capacity as an official or an employee, those are the ones who have to give up full and clear transparency because they are in the public. Officers, firemen, doctors, lawyers, court personnel, lawmakers, ad infinitum, and all this other stuff, things that serve public interest and are maintained in the public system, they were the ones who were required to give up certain private rights so that they could be transparent in public. Case in point, an officer of the law has an obligation to carry his identification from his department, to have a badge number or some kind of ID when requested by a private citizen who may be in the public, walking around, and they're required to have business cards as well. They're supposed to. If they don't have these things, they're out of uniform. And that's a very serious thing because you can't play the game unless you have the uniform or unless you have the equipment to go around the board. That's how it works. So even private information, even things that people who do public work They agree. They strike an accord and say, okay, you know what? I don't mind giving that up because you guys are going to pay me $50 an hour. So I don't mind giving that up. Sure, you can have all that information. But what are they opening themselves up to? Because they're totally transparent now. Their information can be researched online in public databases and pulled up. Their public information now, they still have a private life. And that information can be kept private. But what they do, where they work, where they go every day, what their site is, what their job is, what they're into, all of that is open for public scrutiny and public interest. Because they're working for a public entity. Not a private one that offers public offering. No. A public entity. Okay? So I want to make it clear that you never had to give up your information. As a matter of fact, the Social Security Administration tells you this number is not to be shared with anybody. Don't give it out to anybody, but everybody asks for it on their application. Anybody ever thought that they were giving us the wrong applications? We were not supposed to be receiving those applications. There are other applications that we were supposed to be receiving, especially if we're doing business ads. We're layering ourselves while we go into public. We put the coat on now. You can't really see underneath the coat. Can't see what's there because it's covered. And just like they say, when you're in public, there is no expectation of privacy. People who work for public entities and people who serve the public in some type of capacity, there is no expectation of privacy. If you want privacy, you have to create it. Back in the day, I remember this from back in the day, when let's say police would be on a hunt for somebody and they would catch him, and they had all these charges being, brought on them, saying, oh, they did this, they did that, and they would have them on the news reel, and they would be like, shooting a video of them being walked, in handcuffs, and sometimes you wouldn't see their whole face because they would turn their face away from the camera, or they would hold their face down towards the ground so you couldn't see their face. They were creating privacy. They were creating a private veil for themselves while they were in public because they didn't want their information to be accessible to everybody. They didn't want that. So what I'm saying is that, and what we're bringing you tonight is this. You never had to give your public information out, but we were just never told that. How convenient, right? Once everybody's got their own information all out here, and it's being picked up here and there, and everybody else is using it for other things, and we're not getting the benefit of it. Now they tell us, right? Okay, but you never had to do it. Because you could have done business as, or like Flo was saying, create a trust and be a beneficiary of a trust. Now, I'll tell you something else. Did you know that one of your entities can actually be the trustee in your trust, and you can control that entity? So it's like you having your hands on a puppet, and it doesn't come back to you, because in that land of make-believe, that entity is considered to be a person, even though it might not be alive. But case in point, Howdy Doody, the puppet, was a person. It's got a name. It's got features. Other people know who that is. Howdy Doody is a person. It's not a man or a woman, but it is a person. But just imagine if you were to layer yourself with a cocoon of a person that you created to do business as while you're out and about, then the information that you give out is limited, because they can only accept and verify what you provide. We said that earlier in the podcast. They only know and verify what you provide to them. And there's nothing that says you have to provide anything at all. Or you can provide what you have already created to be able to provide. Now, that doesn't mean that if you struck an accord that you don't have to honor it. You do have to honor the accord. But that goes to the fishing expeditions, the trickery, the subtlety, the sleight of hands, the snake oil salesman, the magician Houdini holding something up saying, here, look at this, and pushing a lever at the bottom of the platform with his foot that you don't see because he's got something shiny and mesmerizing holding your gaze up top. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. What they call it? The public school system, right? Public. Transparency. That's why they got that information. Oh, if you want your child to come here because you don't have to pay for it, but you pay in other ways. But oh, you don't have to directly pay for this. No, your kids can come here, while you're at work. Yeah, they're here until 4 o'clock. Interesting. Enticing. But is it really to our benefit? And what are the motives behind it? Well, these are things that we were never taught. We were never made aware of. They took our civics out of our schools and out of our reach so that we would never reach for these books to look things up. So we have platforms and we have different shows where we can share such information. Now, not everybody does not have all of it. I'm going to say that right now. We as individuals don't have it all, but we have a piece. And most of the time we have a very vital piece. But you got to remember, you got to make this a part of your memory if you want to. You're dealing in a made-up land. It's make-believe, I'm telling you. It's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood with the trolley. It's a land of make-believe, but you got to know how to navigate through this thing. And I know we get angry, we get upset, we get a little peeved and heated sometimes, and that's okay because it's a part of who we are. We have emotions. Okay? We're not automatons, okay? We're emotional, energetic, sentient beings. And we have sensation because of this body. Spirit side of me doesn't know what it feels like without a body. Therefore, I could never relate if I never had a body. I could never know sensation. Hear about it, talk about it, have a definition, but I could never actually experience it without a body. So all of this being said, at the end of the day, we need to take a deeper dive and a closer look if we want to. If we're really interested. If not, then, okay, don't have to. But some of us may want to take a deeper dive. Some of us may want to know, what else have we not been told? Why were we given this document when we could have been given those documents? Interesting. Indeed, interesting. And that's just a point of clarity. Anyone else? Anyone else on the line? We got a few more minutes before we get ready to make some announcements. So the floor is open if you would like to chime in. The floor is open. Okay, we're going to count it down. We're going to go. We're going to go 2 times. And we're going to go 3rd times a charm. Okay, everybody. Well, I guess we're all running on good ground. Maybe some of us are thinking about what we heard tonight, and that's okay as well. But this is a journey through civics. If it seems a little foreign and a little bit out there, it may be because this was taken off of our shelves and we weren't able to put it this way, out of sight, out of mind. Not that it don't exist, but if we don't see it, then we never ask about it. We don't know about it. It's another thing that was done. All these things done for a different agenda, different purpose. So at this time, everybody, I want to open up the floor to any podcasters that are on the line, and also anyone that's on this line that is doing something positive with positive agendas and intentions. I want you to speak up. I want you to just kind of mention what you got going on and what you're doing or what you're trying to put together. And if you're, in need of, let's say you use assistive technology to do things or assistive whatever to do things, or even if you don't, I'd like for you to just give us a little bit of what you're into and what you hope to accomplish, because you never know who you may run into that may have the same thought as you. And you never know. You all may be able to assist one another to get there. And that's what it really is all about at the end of the day. So, podcasters, you have the floor first. And then anybody else after that, if you're doing something positive to make a change, to make a difference, to impact somebody's life in a better and a greater way, we definitely want to hear about you too. All right, so podcasters, you have the floor first. Any podcasters? All right. Well, I guess they're in my podcast. Hello? Okay, well, maybe that was an inadvertent unmute. Okay, so none of my podcasters are on. Okay. Well, we'll go to the listening audience and those of you who are doing positive things. Positive can mean, hey, working within the community, having your own business, maintaining a network, reaching a collective group of people, whatever it may be. We want to hear from you. So you have the floor. Okay. Gonna go once. All right, don't everybody talking once. Gonna go 2 times. All right, everybody. There's room for everybody. And 3rd time is a charm. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, with that being said, we're going to give you our announcements, and then we're going to give it to our man, FloFokuz, for the summation. So, as you all may know, and I want everybody to know, and I want everybody to please mention to someone.
Mention.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, mic check, brother. Sorry about that. I was sitting there putting together this thing for the vendors, and I was listening. I got on a little late. My apologies, brother. Well, no show for me this Saturday because you know where we all be at on Saturday. Maybe that's where everybody's getting ready. But quick question, brother. Was Joffrey on tonight, brother? Because I got on maybe about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, yes. Mr. Joffrey, he's on tonight.
Okay, yeah, I just like to tell Brother Jaffe, please give me a call, brother, when Marcus's wonderful show ends. I was just listening. I came on late, but this thing been running me, brother, last minute, getting name badges, all that stuff. So,
Mm.
well, I'll tell you what, if you like to, because you did a wonderful job, but I just like to put on top of what you're bringing with the event. You can tell people about the event, and I appreciate it, is that it'll be streamlined. So that means finally, brother, that's why everybody's thinking that, this ship got to be tight because now we're opening up to the world. To now, not only my comrades, you and others, Marcus, up here, but it's going to be live stream, for 12 to 6. And, of course, you and my comrades will look into there and tell people about your show. So going forward, like I said, we're going to put more people on the yacht, and we're going to sail and just have a good time on Saturday night, brother. And I'll rest on that part. But thank you, Brother Marcus.
Not a problem. Thank you for chiming in. That is Forrest Nance, the CEO of Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself, Progressive Podcast Network. He has a show that he does on Saturday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And he just had Letitia Robinson on Saturday. And I was on, and she was talking about her teas, her blends. And I believe that she actually blends these teas herself. And she blends them for the taste, she blends them for their potency, and, for their calming effect. And we had a very good presentation from her. She's very thorough, and she's going to be at the event, the Grown Folk Talking Express Yourself Network Disease Prevention Convention and Health Forum at the Salvation Army, 699 Springfield Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, okay? That's on Springfield Avenue. If you're taking public transportation, the 25 line takes you right there in front of the place. Yes, it does, if you're coming from any of the train station hubs. But it's on the main drag, Springfield Avenue. Anybody and everybody in the city of Newark can actually tell you where it is, because this building is so big, it takes up its own block. A whole residential block. It takes up a whole residential block. That's how large this building is, and how large the property is that they sit on. So that's where it's going to be. Once again, it's going to be from 12 noon to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have vendors there. We're going to have over 20 speakers. And the keynote speaker that I'd like to key in on is Mr. Thurston Bilal. Yes, he's going to be speaking. He's going to be coming in from the West Coast. So that's serious. The man is flying in. He's flying in just to be with us on that day for our Disease Prevention Convention and Health Forum. So everybody, make sure that you tell a friend, and also tell them that we're live streaming it. I'm quite sure that our CEO is going to get us some information about how we can tap into that live stream, so we can also share that around with others, so that they, maybe if they can't be there, they can also have the benefit of watching and sharing what will be live streamed.
Marcus?
So that's, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I just want to say, not cutting you off, brother, but only thing I have to do is go to our Facebook page, and that's where it will be live stream at, which is Grown Folk, F-O-L-K, talking without the G, T-A-L-K-I-N, express, like an express train. You spell this out yourself, but it's vital, family, that you put P as in Paul, and N at the end. PPN, that stands for Progressive Podcast Network, because there are several other shows, you probably know, Marcus, that are entitled Grown Folk Talking. And then there are other shows, podcasts, that are entitled Express Yourself. So if you don't put it in correctly, you're going to be like, I know this ain't the podcast right here, because they be talking about some crazy stuff on some of these other podcasts. And we ain't trying to talk crazy, but we're trying to bring you guys information. That's what's important. This is the information channel. And like Brother Leon says, this ain't Larry Moe and Curly network. So once again, Grown Folk Talking, folk without an S and talking without a G. Express Yourself, PPN. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy if you can't be here with us physically, because we're gonna have a good time. And Marcus will tell you, last year we had a wonderful time, nice crowd.
Yeah, we did.
You
Yes,
know.
we did.
So thank you. And Marcus will be speaking, y'all. So make sure you come see the brother in person, and he'll sign your autograph. Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, Brother Forrest. Thank you. All right, and I don't believe we have King David on tonight. My apologies.
No, he's still on vacation. Yeah, he's still on vacation.
All right. So we will not have King David tonight. He's still on vacation, but well deserved. But we'll be here on Mondays. Don't worry about it. So we'll hold it down, and when he comes back, then we'll have King David back. But he will also be at the event. So those of you who are coming out will get to meet him live and in person if you haven't met him before. Also, don't forget, tomorrow is Tuesday. Okay, 7 a.m. Miss Carol does a prayer call. All of you who have been on the network are familiar with it, but those who may be new to the network, prayer call 7 a.m., 7 days a week right here on the network. So if you get up early, you're on your way to work or, you're getting yourself ready, you can put it on your phone. Call right in. Or if you want to use the app or your computer, you can do that as well. You can join in on the prayer. You can be silent on the prayer line. You can make requests. You can give testimonies or good reports. It's up to you in the way that Ms. Carol does it. It's very, very good. It's a great way to start your day and get your day going in a good direction. So my suggestion is, if you can, maybe make it once or twice a week. It's highly worth it, and it helps you to get things going correctly and in a great way. It's a great way to start. Now, tomorrow, 6 p.m., we have Grace Space with Jada and Karen. You're definitely going to want to listen to them. Those two women, I'm telling you, they are awesome. I'm telling you, they have good guests. Last week and the week before, they had a guest on who was talking about gardening, planting your own food, how to do it. And check this out. I didn't know this, but in your counties, there are offices in every county that give you the information about how to test your soil, what soil to use, how you can make your soil usable for growing crops the best way, and other resources such as seeds, grants, other things that you'll need for gardening and growing your own food, either outside or inside. And they have these resources, and these offices are not well known. Like I said, we don't get a lot of information for some reason, but they're not well known, but they're there for us. So they can give us a lot of information on how to grow our own food, but they're located in every county. As a matter of fact, Jada's line tomorrow, they might be on tomorrow, but I'm quite sure that if you tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. to Great Space and you ask the question, she may be able to give you the gentleman's contact information. He gives it out all the time, and you can actually call him, and he's dedicated himself to helping anybody who wants to grow vegetables, fruits, things like that, either in your home or on a piece of land. So I think it's well worth it. And then at 7:30 tomorrow, we got Miss Carol again with the pink sofa. And tomorrow is men and women. So gentlemen and ladies, you are invited to the pink sofa tomorrow. Please come on out. Please join these podcast shows. Listen, bring a friend, all right? Bring a friend. We tell you all the time. And with that being said, everybody, we want to... Oh, is that Brother Edward?
Yes.
Yes, please, go ahead, Brother Edward. Shout out your podcast, brother.
Greetings. Yes, my show is on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and the name of the show is Thine Will Be Done. Because it is all about your will. Sometimes we don't realize, just like what Brother Marcus was speaking to earlier, we create our own worlds, though he didn't say that, but to protect it and to learn how to protect it so that it's generational is very, very important. And there's a big difference between public and private. And we really need to start also growing our own foods. So that show tomorrow, just like this show, is very important. And we should ponder and do a little bit of research in reference to the things that Brother Marcus was sharing, because it is very important. With all the drastic changes that the government and the corporation is striving to create. Hey, Brother Marcus, did you speak to what is this new license that they're talking about?
Oh, that Real ID?
Yeah. I know you're out of time, but maybe, when's your next show? Something.
Next show is Friday, 6 p.m., right before yours. So
Right.
it'll be my show at 6 and then your show at 8.
Might be a good thing to speak to, because a lot of people don't realize they're creating new contracts to get this thing just because they put that word real in front. Like
Yes.
the one
yes.
we've been using is fake. I don't know. I don't understand the games, but
Yes, yes. Plays on words, semantics. Yes, a lot of that goes into it, and we'll definitely take a deeper dive into that probably this coming week in our journey through civics. So that's what we're doing. We're taking our journey through civics, and we're revealing secrets to this game because they took all the information out, so we couldn't pull it off the shelf anymore. So we got it this way now. And we'll be glad to bring it to you all the time. Once again, everybody, that's Brother Edward. He's on Fridays at 8 p.m. right here on the network. So that's right, following my 6 p.m. show, Cooler Talk. Thine will be done with Brother Edward. Please tell a friend. You know how we do. Fridays is definitely power pack shows as well as the rest of the nights. So come on in, support, tell a friend, and don't forget, we got our Flip Side Friday coming up this month. That's right, prize giveaways. We're giving away gift cards and some other prizes as well. We surprised you guys last time with some prizes we gave away to that concert at NJ Pat. Let us see at Marcia Ambrosia. Congratulations to those who were able to take advantage of those prizes. But we'll have another Flip Side coming this 5th Friday, Cooler Talk, 6 p.m. So make sure you're all there and bring a friend. Bring a friend. We might be able to give out some prizes for those who bring the most people on the podcast that night as well. So with that being said, if there are any other podcasters who would like to shout out your shows before we close, before we give it over to FloFokuz, the floor is yours. All righty. And if not, FloFokuz.
Yes, sir.
You know
I
what it is,
appreciate it.
brother.
Wow. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful engagement. I thank you all for showing up. And for all of you tuning in after the live, I'm going to try to make sure that as much of these lives are available for you as much as possible. And remember, guys, we're going to be here every Monday and Friday, except for the first Monday, the last Monday of every month, right? So keep an eye
Right.
out for us, all right? And we're always here 6 p.m., guys. And stay tuned to prologicstrategies.com/news for more announcements and more engagements and things. We're going to get those going for you sooner than you expect. So thanks so much again, guys, for all of your chiming in you did tonight and everyone tuning in and listening. And tune in next time for us, guys. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming in. And welcome to all our new listeners.
Yes, of course. Welcome to all of our new listeners. Feel free to join us anytime.